You are a veteran of Washington. You've been up on the Hill, you've practiced law there, you know Washington well. Puts this all in perspective. What do we know about the Mueller investigation? What don't we know? And what does it really mean for things like tax reform?
Well, in terms of the investigation itself, I mean, there is some reportage that somebody's about to be indicted, that a grand jury has agreed with what the prosecutor wants to do and has returned what is called a true bill, and that they'll move forward on something today. Anything else that we know today is probably more tea leaf reading than anything else, and I thought Kevin did a nice job of setting that up. But if you're tea leaf reading in Washington over the weekend, you think it's not likely that this is going to be anybody big or anybody particularly connected to the Trump administration, or that the behavior has much of anything to do with the core issues of Trump-Russia collusion. And as a result of that, I think it's not really likely to affect the congressional schedule very much. I think what needs to be understood about the juxtaposition of issues like the Mueller probe and tax reform is that if Mueller does something and takes an action that strikes at the heart of the Trump presidency, then what you get is some dislocation and some discombobulation with a time schedule. But if that doesn't happen, what ends up going on here in Washington is that you still get the Congress moving forward on major initiatives like tax reform, which, after all, are things that they fundamentally want to do. It's not really about Trump, it's about them.
So assuming this is more noise than signal at the moment, what about the schedule? We've heard other Republicans. How realistic is it to really get a bill out by Thanksgiving, something to the president he can sign by the end of this calendar year?
I have called that schedule aspirational. I think what is not particularly well understood is that if you've got momentum going in the Congress, and the leaders clearly think they do, what they want to do is keep up momentum. So they want to push as hard as they can in order to keep that momentum going, number one. And number two, if you want to counteract the lobbying surge that is already starting to take place, the thing that you want to do is make sure and get all your members together and get them voting and get them pushing on the broad parameters of tax reform, knowing that you can fill in the details later. And things like pay-fors and whatnot are very important, of course. But they're details in the broader sweep of getting the aggressively low tax rates, simplifying the personal brackets, all that sort of thing.